Titanic mysteries that may never be solved. New evidence has experts rethinking how the luxury passenger liner sank. Titanic was a massive ship 883 feet long, 92 feet wide, weighing more than 46,000 tons. It was 175 feet tall from the keel to the top of the four Staxer funnels, almost 35 feet of which was below the waterline. An estimated 100,000 people gathered at the dock in Belfast, Ireland on March 31, 1911, to watch the launch of the Royal Mail ship Titanic. Considered to be an unsinkable ship, it was the largest and most luxurious cruise liner of its day. It crashed into an iceberg on its maiden voyage in 1912. It took more than 1,500 of its 2,200 passengers to the bottom as the ship slipped into the North Atlantic. It was also designed to be a symbol of modern safety technology. It had a double hull of 1-inch thick steel plates and 16 watertight compartments sealed by massive doors that could be instantly triggered by a single electric switch on the bridge or automatically by electric water sensors. The original design called for 32 lifeboats, but White Star Line thought the boat deck would look cluttered and reduced the number to 20. But why did the Titanic sink? Experts are still debating possible causes of this historic disaster that took the lives of more than 1,500 passengers and crew. Some blamed the Titanic's skipper, Captain Edward Smith, for sailing the massive ship at such a high speed, 22 knots, through the iceberg-heavy waters of the North Atlantic. Some believed Smith was trying to better the crossing time of Titanic's White Star sister ship, the Olympic. But in a 2004 paper, engineer Robert Asenhai speculated that efforts to control a fire in one of the ship's coal bunkers could have explained why the Titanic was sailing at full speed. A new documentary claims the Titanic's hull was weakened before it struck an iceberg. Instead, the floating mountain of ice may have happened to strike the exact spot where the hull had been weakened by a coal fire blazing in the bowels of the passenger's ship. As Irish journalist Cianan Moloney said, a dark patch on the Titanic's hull shows the coal was burning even as the ship was being launched. The intensity of the fire not only weakened a forward bulkhead, but also may have caused a serious deformity to the hull. Did John Pierpont Morgan plan the whole thing? Some who believe the Titanic took the place of the damaged Olympic. They blame financier Morgan, who was one of the owners of the company that owned both ships. Morgan was one of the wealthiest people on the planet at the time. He was a last-minute no-show on the Titanic's sole voyage. Why did Morgan and his entire family not end up on the ship? Some insist the ship that sank wasn't the Titanic, but rather the nearly identical Olympic. As the story goes, the Olympic had been damaged in an accident the year before, but in order to score a bigger insurance payoff, the ship's common owners passed off the Olympic as the Titanic and then deliberately sank it. While there are lots of holes in this Titanic theory, serial numbers found on parts of the ship that didn't sink support it. In a letter to family after her rescue, 24-year-old Miss Richards of Cornwall wrote, "The captain was down in the salon drinking and gave charge to someone else to steer the ship. It was the captain's fault." According to a claim made in 2010 by Louise Patton, the granddaughter of the most senior Titanic officer to survive, Charles Lightoller, one of the ship's crew members, panicked after hearing the order to turn hard a starboard in order to avoid the approaching iceberg. Because ships at the time operated on two different steering order systems, he became confused and turned the wrong way directly toward the ice. What caused the ship to break into two pieces? On September 1, 1985, oceanographer Robert Ballard discovered the wreckage 2.5 miles below the ocean surface, along with the surprising news that the ship had broken in two before sinking. Previously, everyone had thought that the ship sank intact after colliding with an iceberg while speeding through icy waters near the coast of Newfoundland. Ballard's discovery led to a new theory that the ship splitting into two pieces, which may have been the difference between life and death. Why didn't the crew have binoculars? Surely, if the crew had binoculars, they would have seen the danger in time to change course. But the Titanic's entire supply of binoculars was locked away in a storage compartment, and a crew member who had been transferred off the ship just before it set sail had the key. The crew member later claimed he forgot to hand over the key. If there was a warning, why didn't anyone take it seriously? The wireless radio operator dismissed a key iceberg warning less than an hour before the Titanic hit the iceberg, another nearby ship, the Californian, radioed to say it had been stopped by dense field ice. The radio signal was so strong, it interrupted Titanic's regular communication and its reply was "Shut up. Shut up. I am busy." Californian shut down its wireless at 23:30. Titanic struck the iceberg 10 minutes later. Titanic's radio operator Jack Phillips considered the other ship's warning non-urgent. Officers aboard Californian observed several rockets and called down to Captain Lord, who had since gone to bed. Lord suggested that the rockets were company signals of some kind and ignored total of 8 white rockets. Radio chatter regarding Titanic's SOS signal overwhelmed the airwaves. The news was sent to Captain Lord. Californian arrives alongside Carpathia, who just finished collecting all survivors. There weren't enough lifeboats. No matter what caused the Titanic to sink, such a massive loss of life could probably have been avoided if the ship had carried sufficient lifeboats for its passengers and crew. But the White Star liner left Southampton with only 20 lifeboats, the legal minimum, with a total capacity of 1,178 people. Though Maurice Clark, the civil servant who inspected the Titanic in Southampton, recommended it carry 50% more lifeboats, his handwritten notes at the time later revealed that he felt his job would be threatened if he did not give the famous ship the go-ahead to sail. Due to the chaos that ensued after the Titanic struck an iceberg, the 20 lifeboats departed the ship with some 400 empty seats, leaving more than 1,500 people to perish in the frigid ocean waters.